Today, I want to share what I've learned the hard way. Not because I'm angry, but because I wish someone had told me these things before I made the move. I'm going to walk you through 9 lessons, real experiences, so you can decide what's truly best for you or your loved ones. This is my story. My name is Stephen Murphy. I'm 79 years old, born and raised right here in Los Angeles. I've lived through a lot, raising a family, running a small business, loving and losing, celebrating and grieving. I've always considered myself a practical man, someone who makes the best decision with the information at hand. But a few years ago, I made a choice that changed my life in ways I didn't expect. I moved into a nursing home. It seemed like the sensible thing at the time. My knees were getting weaker, my family was worried, and everyone said I'd be safer with round-the-clock care. I believed it would be easier for them and for me. And I told myself, if I don't like it, I can always leave. But here's what no one told me. Once you go in, everything changes. Getting out isn't so simple. What starts as a solution slowly becomes a whole new reality. When I first moved into the nursing home, I honestly didn't expect it to feel like such a loss. I thought I was simply trading one kind of comfort for another, letting go of grocery shopping, housework, and cooking in exchange for safety and care. But what no one prepared me for was the slow, painful erosion of my independence. At home, even when my knees ached or I moved a little slower, I still had the freedom to live on my own terms. I decided when to get up, how to spend my day, what to eat for dinner, and whether I wanted peace and quiet or a phone call with an old friend. Every day was mine. But inside the nursing home, that freedom quietly slipped away. The days were no longer built around my rhythm. They followed a rigid schedule someone else created. Breakfast was served whether you were hungry or not. Lights out meant lights out, even if you were still wide awake and thinking. I had to ask just to go outside, and sometimes had to wait for someone to escort me. Even choosing what shirt to wear or when to bathe felt like asking for permission. It wasn't that people were unkind, it's that the system was set up to make decisions for you, not with you. And the saddest part, after a while, you stop asking, you start accepting, and in that slow adjustment, you lose a part of yourself. I used to be Stephen Murphy, a man with routines, preferences, and a life I shaped. Now I felt like just another resident going along with the flow because there wasn't another choice. I never imagined how quickly the world could forget you. When I first arrived, my daughter visited every week without fail. The grandkids came by on Sundays, bringing laughter and updates from school. I clung to those moments like a lifeline. But as time passed, the visits slowed. My daughter started calling instead. Then the calls became shorter. Holidays came and went with well-meaning promises. We'll come next weekend, we'll stop by after dinner, that quietly dissolved into apologies. I tried to be understanding. Life is busy, people have work responsibilities, their own worries, but knowing that doesn't make it easier. You start watching the clock, hoping today is the day someone will walk through the door. You hear footsteps in the hallway and wonder if they're coming for you. More often than not, they aren't. I began to feel like a photo left in a dusty frame, once treasured, now overlooked. And I saw it everywhere, not just in my story. There was Mr. Rodriguez, who waited every Sunday in his nicest shirt, just in case someone came. There was Eleanor, who used to bake cookies for her grandkids and now watched the door with teary eyes. It's not that our families stopped loving us, they just stopped seeing us. Out of sight becomes out of mind. And nothing prepares you for the ache of being forgotten, especially when your heart still remembers everything and everyone. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Before the move, I had reasons to wake up every morning, small reasons perhaps, but they mattered. I brewed my coffee just the way I liked it, watered the roses in my backyard, and read the paper at my own pace. I had my routines, my quiet responsibilities, folding laundry, tending to small repairs, cooking meals that reminded me of my late wife's recipes. Those things kept me grounded. They made me feel useful. In the nursing home, all of that was gone. Meals appeared like clockwork, but I didn't prepare them. My laundry was folded for me, but I never touched it. There was nothing to care for, nothing to tend to. At first, I told myself I was getting a well-deserved rest. But after a few weeks, that rest turned into emptiness. I felt adrift in a sea of sameness. I watched other residents sit in their chairs for hours, eyes blank, lives paused. One man, George, had been a carpenter. His hands, once strong and skilled, now sat idle in his lap. "I feel like I'm disappearing," he whispered to me once. And I knew exactly what he meant. When you lose your purpose, when your days no longer ask anything of you, you begin to fade from the inside out. Purpose isn't about productivity, it's about presence. And without it, we age faster than we ever imagined. When I moved in, I wasn't in perfect shape, but I was managing. I could walk unassisted, cook a meal, make my bed, even go to the store with a bit of effort. I had a little stiffness in the morning, sure, but I pushed through it because I had things to do. Once I got to the nursing home, I was told to take it easy, rest more, let others help. And I did. Meals came to me. I no longer had to stand and cook or clean. I started sitting more than resting more. Then I started needing more help than before. In just a few months, the decline was dramatic. My legs grew weaker. I found myself short of breath after short walks. Getting up from a chair required more effort than I expected. And I wasn't alone. I watched residents arrive on their own 2 feet and end up needing wheelchairs in less than a year. The nursing home made things convenient, but convenience came at a price. We stopped using our muscles, so they stopped working. The truth is, your body responds to the life you live. If you're moving, it fights for you. If you're idle, it gives up. I wish I had understood that earlier because now I have to work twice as hard to regain what I've lost. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Privacy is something you don't realize you value so deeply until it's no longer yours. In my home, I had solitude. I could shut a door, sit in silence, enjoy my space. But in the nursing home, everything changed. Staff entered my room freely, sometimes without warning. I had to wait for help with personal things I never thought I'd need help with: showering, dressing, even using the bathroom. I knew they were doing their job and they did it kindly, but still I felt exposed. Vulnerable. Then there was the issue of roommates. Not everyone gets a private room, and sharing space with someone you didn't choose isn't easy. I was fortunate to have a quiet roommate, but others weren't. I heard stories of men sharing rooms with folks who yelled at night or didn't bathe or were confused and wandered. Even the simplest things like changing clothes felt like a performance you didn't sign up for. Over time, you adjust. You smile politely, you pretend not to care, but deep down, your sense of self shrinks. Dignity doesn't disappear all at once. It's taken in little moments until you no longer feel like the person you once were. When I first moved in, I thought of it as temporary, a trial run. I even told my friends I'll give it a few months. If it's not for me, I'll just go home. But leaving wasn't as simple as I imagined. My house sat empty, and my children, trying to help, began selling or giving away my belongings. They thought I wouldn't need them anymore. My furniture disappeared. My garden was overgrown. The fridge was unplugged. Slowly, my house became unfamiliar even to me. And then there was the physical change. I had grown weaker, slower, less confident. I began to doubt whether I could manage alone again. When I brought it up, my kids hesitated. "Dad, we just want you to be safe," they said. I couldn't blame them. But it made me feel trapped. What I once thought of as a break became something permanent. And I wasn't alone. Many of the people here came in thinking they'd leave eventually. Most never do. Not because they can't because by the time they're ready, it's already too late. There's a heaviness in nursing home life that's hard to describe. It's not just about routine or environment. It's about the absence of soul. The rooms are clean but sterile. The halls are quiet, not peaceful. The faces around you are kind but tired. It's a place of care but not connection. I remember sitting by the window one afternoon, watching the sunlight fall across the floor and thinking, this doesn't feel like a life, it feels like waiting. Back at home, my life had color, texture, noise, the hum of the kettle, the squeak of the floorboards, the birds outside my kitchen window. Here, time passes differently. There are activities, yes, but they feel scripted. There's conversation, but it often circles around the same memories. Without the familiar, the spontaneous, or the deeply personal, you begin to lose your emotional center. You exist, but you stop feeling alive. And that, to me, has been the hardest part. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 7 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Before moving in, I had a picture in my mind. I thought I'd be surrounded by friendly faces, enjoying group meals, engaging in light activities, and having plenty of time to rest without worry. I imagined it like a peaceful retirement community, supportive, social, and safe. But the reality didn't match the picture. Meals were rushed. Activities were often repetitive. Friendships were polite but distant, and the care, though consistent, felt impersonal. I was just one of many. The gap between what I expected and what I experienced hit me hard. It wasn't that everything was terrible, but it wasn't what I was promised. And the disappointment didn't just come from the physical environment, it came from the emotional letdown. I had trusted that this would be better for me, but instead of feeling supported, I felt contained. If you're thinking about making the move, don't just ask what's offered. Ask how it feels. Because comfort isn't just about a bed and 3 meals a day, it's about feeling at home in your own life. If I could go back in time, I would have fought harder to stay in my home. I would have looked into part-time caregivers, explored community resources, asked neighbors for help, or even considered moving in with a family member. There were more options than I realized, but fear and pressure made me rush the decision. I thought I was doing the smart thing. I thought I was making life easier, but in truth, I gave up far more than I expected: my routines, my independence, my peace of mind. I'm not saying nursing homes are wrong for everyone. Some people need them. But if there's still a way for you to stay in your home, surrounded by the things and people that matter to you, take it. Explore every possibility. Because once you make the move, going back isn't easy. And the life you leave behind is often the one you miss the most. As we age, comfort and safety naturally become part of the conversation, but we must not forget how deeply important our independence, identity, and sense of purpose are. Stephen Murphy's story is more than just one man's regret. It's a reminder that the life we build, our routines, our space, our little freedoms, are not small things. They are everything. When we give them up too quickly, even for well-meaning reasons, we risk losing more than just a house, we risk losing ourselves. His experience urges us to pause before making life-altering decisions, especially those that can't easily be undone. Whether it's choosing to remain at home a little longer, asking for help instead of relocating, or simply speaking up for what we value, we are reminded that our voices still matter. Aging does not mean surrendering who we are. It means finding new ways to protect what we've spent a lifetime building. If we take anything from Stephen's words, it's this: stay rooted in what gives your life meaning and hold on to your choices for as long as you can, because freedom, once gone, is much harder to reclaim than we often realize. One of the most powerful lessons from this story is that independence, purpose, and human connection are not luxuries. They are essential parts of a life well lived, especially as we grow older. The decision to move into a nursing home may seem like the safest or most convenient choice, but it often comes at the cost of freedom, identity, and emotional well-being. As we age, we must not give up our power to choose how we live, even in the smallest ways: what time we wake up, what meals we enjoy when we take a walk. These everyday freedoms define our sense of self. The loss of privacy, the fading visits from loved ones, and the quiet slipping of physical strength can make a person feel forgotten, not just by others, but by life itself. This story reminds us to think carefully before surrendering what makes life rich and meaningful. It encourages us to explore every alternative, to ask for help without giving up our home or our spirit, and to value the small routines that bring us peace. Because the truth is, staying connected to purpose, family, and personal dignity can add more to life than any schedule or system ever could. Thank you for joining us today. We would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today, how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue to create great content to inform and inspire you. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.